This is the Aston Martin DBX, probably the most important car to be launched in the brand's 106-year history. Now, to find out a little bit more about it, we haven't gone to the south of France or to the Alps. We've come here to Silverstone to hop in, take it out on the track, out on the road and off-road. But before we start, make sure you subscribe to the channel and switch on those notifications, and as ever, leave your comments below.
Here it is then, the DBX. It's probably the most important Aston Martin ever because it's a new type of Aston Martin. It's the firm's first SUV, its first four-wheel drive car, and its first car built in a new factory in Wales. It costs just under £160,000 and sports a 542 brake horsepower 4-litre twin-turbo V8. It's also important because Aston Martin is aiming to shift 4,500 of them a year. This car is big news, so we hitched a ride with its chief engineer for a development drive no other Aston Martin has ever been subjected to.
Right, we're with the famous Matt Becker here. Is it right to call you famous?
I don't mind. Call me what you like.
The famous Matt Becker. I've just noticed, Matt, we're sitting on some seat covers here. Is this because people have accidents or?
They have
for
done.
you?
Yeah, it's not for me. It's because we can't reveal the interior yet.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So we're at Stowe. Is this your second home?
Yeah, well, it's actually our prime home now because we have obviously an engineering test centre here,
Yeah.
which we do a lot of our vehicle testing and development from, as well as other locations around the world.
Yeah. Okay. So this is where presumably the DBX has got to shine on the track, hasn't it, to be a genuine, authentic Aston Martin?
Yeah, it has. I mean, the Stowe circuit is what we kind of utilise, every week, but we also get regular access to the bigger circuits here as well. So either the national, international, GP circuit.
Yeah. So presumably that was a key engineering goal, is to make the DBX fun to drive in an environment such as this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's called an SUV, sports utility vehicle, and we
Yeah.
very much respect the sports aspect of that.
A lot of manufacturers forget that bit, don't they?
Yeah, they do, because again, our target really was to make an SUV feel as sporty as a Vantage, which is a challenge in itself, as well as all the other things you need to respect that the car needs to achieve.
Yeah, yeah. So we're just cruising around at the moment. It all seems very hushed at the moment. I know you're itching to
holding
put
me
your
back,
foot down, aren't you?
basically, yeah.
Well, go on then. So how would you describe the dynamics of this car?
Yeah, so some of the technologies and tools we have on this car allow us to really adjust the balance of the car. So we have triple volume air springs, which effectively give you 4 spring rates. We've got active roll control, which is via a 48-volt system, which allows us to tune the roll stiffness of the car up and down it depending on what mode we're in.
Yeah.
We have an active centre diff, which in Sport Plus with the ESP off is effectively putting 100% torque to the rear.
Goodness me, it really does.
And then you can go pretty sideways with the car.
So, how much power's been sent to the rear wheels then?
In that position then is 100%.
100%,
as
okay.
it is now.
Yeah, that was definitely 100%. So am I right in saying this is the first four-wheel drive Aston Martin?
It is, yeah. So it's, first four-wheel drive Aston Martin, first Aston Martin SUV.
Yeah.
So as a technical challenge, it's an enormous challenge as a project. And, my initial cynicism of SUVs was clearly removed very quickly because once you started driving these cars in the various locations that can be used, a track, an off-road course, on-road, across a field, towing a horse box, you suddenly realise actually these cars are so much more complicated than a sports car to develop. The whole point of an SUV is to give customers that they can use as a utility vehicle, but if they want to turn the car up or down, that you give them the ability to do that.
Yeah. So you think you've hit the right balance with this car then?
Yeah, I mean, certainly when we did all the benchmarking and target setting, is we realised that there was a space we could go into I mean, some of the most sporty SUVs are quite extreme, and some of the more GT SUVs are less extreme. And we wanted to kind of fit between the two. I'm not naming names. But also we wanted to be the most beautiful, best handling SUV in the marketplace. And when I say handling, it doesn't mean you have to be extreme with the car. It means the best blend of, handling, steering and ride performance.
Yeah. So what's the initial sort of interest been in this car? Has there been...
Yeah, there's lots of interest. I mean, you talk about the, why did we do an SUV? Well, the majority of our customers that own an Aston also own an SUV. But they don't own an Aston SUV because it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah. The pressure to get this right is immense, really, isn't it? Because you've got to appeal to the traditional Aston buyer who, like you say, he's got an Aston Martin, but has also got a Range Rover or a Cayenne or whatever.
Yeah.
So you've got to appeal to them, but you've also got to appeal to people who just want an SUV with an Aston Martin badge on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So talk to me about the different modes then. So we're sort of in a comfort, normal mode.
So the car defaults to GT mode. GT mode being the mode you'd use every day. And then we have above that, so if you call that 0 in terms of ride height, above that you have a terrain, which the car will go up 15 millimetres. And then we have terrain plus, which is the most extreme off-road mode, which we'll use in a little while. And then the car goes up another 30 millimetres. So from 0 in GT mode upwards, it goes up 45 millimetres. And then the more sportier modes, so from GT we can then go to Sport.
Yeah.
Sport, the car lowers 15 millimetres. It will change the active roll control, the amount of stiffness we have. It will also stiffen the dampers, and we have a different Bilstein damper on this car, which has a wider range of capability than what we fit on the sports cars, again, to complement what the car needs to do. And then below that we have, you can go even more aggressive with Sport Plus, and as you can see with Sport Plus, when you switch the ESP off, it's giving pretty much 100% torque to the rear, and you can see how sideways we can make the car go. And then we have an individual mode. Individual mode will be then your individual selection of what you want the mode to be, and it's attached to your key. So if you or your partner, whatever key you use, when you get into the car, will always kind of go to the individual mode which you've programmed. And within that, the sound character of the car will change according. If you're in GT, it's very quiet and serene when you want it to be, but as you increase the RPM, you'll get this warm sound. And then with the Sport and Sport Plus modes, you'll get more sound character, more noise. Again, because we're trying to kind of give the customers what they expect.
One thing that's apparent from sitting here is that it doesn't feel a big car.
No.
You feel as though you're sitting up quite high, and there's great visibility, but it doesn't feel that much bigger than the Vantage.
No. And that was the target with the cars. Everything we'd chosen, from the steering ratio to the tyre sizes to the way the car responds. And actually that ties up with the visuals. I mean, Marek, obviously very creative team that works for him and he works with, and they're incredible at creating this shape that denies its size. So very much I have to, from a very early stage of the development process, what we will do is I will go and look at the designs with him and make sure the targets we're setting for the car and what we're doing with them actually complements the visuals.
And one thing I have noticed is this is the first Aston Martin I've seen for a while. It's got a circular steering wheel.
I know, I push like mad for that because the designers, you've got to allow them their creativity, but I want a perfectly round steering wheel, because when you're, especially with a car like this, when you're passing the wheel through your hand, you don't want any brakes or disturbance. And it's like, we don't, road wheels, they're not funny shape, they're round for a reason. We very much pushed with this round wheel, and it's and we spent a lot of time designing the section of it, how your thumbs would fit in, and the feel of the wheel, because it's a lot of detail goes into these things, and it's heated as well. And it's like with the additional storage we have in the car, which you can't see right now, but underneath the centre console there's a big storage area under there. We've got a glove box in the car. We've got a boot area which is pretty much class leading. We've created a car that people can use on a daily basis. Right, so first Aston Martin, we're going to go across a field and up a hill.
This is quite a momentous moment, isn't it?
A very muddy field as well, and a very muddy hill.
So I suppose you know, you've got a completely clean sheet of paper here because nobody's, you know, people have got a preconception of how an Aston Martin should drive on track, around town, on a long drive, whereas here you could do anything you like, I suppose.
Yeah, and because of the level of wheel travel we have and the active roll control system and the fact that we can vary torque front to rear and side to side at the back actually naturally gives you all the tools and ability to have quite a good level of off-road capability. I mean, this is like a 30% incline in your seat.
It's just, how easy was that? So I can tell this is pretty extreme, this off-road course.
Yeah, it is, and it gets even more extreme through the woods. There's a more extreme section. Well, I'm not an expert in off-road driving, but I've learned the trick to take it slowly.
I was going to say that. I didn't quite know how to phrase it because you're not really an off-road specialist, are you?
Not really, no. I'm having to learn.
So what mode are we in at the moment? Is it the most?
It's a Terrain Plus, so it's the highest mode, so it's plus 45mm from GT.
So is it a 50-50 split in terms of power as well?
In terms of torque, what it does is it looks at how much slip each wheels have, and then it decides how much to distribute the torque.
Right, we're approaching a small lake here, Matt. We should
even
be
deeper
doing this in
around
an
there.
Aston Martin.
Yeah, it's not mine.
I've used that excuse before. It doesn't really work.
It does get quite deep through here.
So what's the wading depth there?
It's 0.5 metre.
Right. Okay. So obviously not Range Rover levels, but pretty good for a performance road-biased SUV.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is our forest section.
Forest bit.
This is the forest bit. Imagine your hobby is shooting and you're driving through the forest to get to your shooting location.
Aren't you offering some
lifestyle
accessories?
There are. Yeah, there's the dog kit, the shooting kit. There's all sorts of things. There's a skiing accessory package.
Of course, yeah.
Which has a heat thing to heat your boots as well.
Yeah. So are you pretty staggered that this car can do this kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Does it still surprise you
Yeah,
now?
it does, yeah. Yeah, I hope we don't get it stuck now, otherwise.
I know, that's going to be a bit embarrassing.
Yeah. But no, I am. But I think it comes down to a very good four-wheel drive system and good tyres.
Yeah.
And having the ground clearance.
And these are totally road spec
These
tyres.
are all-season tyres,
Yeah.
so they're not actually. We offer a mud and snow tyre as well, which has even primarily it's intended for kind of the winter seasons.
Yeah.
But the good thing about this tyre is this kind of covers the bases of most. It will do summer and it will do winter. But if people want more summer performance, then there's a P0 tyre which they can have.
Yeah. I mean, it's just bonkers to think that half an hour ago we were
rattling around the track, and now you're doing this. Yeah. Which they are technically very capable machines.
This rather wet afternoon at Silverstone was fascinating. It showed the DBX has the potential to be a new type of Aston Martin for a new type of buyer, while at the same time being typically Aston. The future looks very promising indeed. What do you think to it? Leave your comments below and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.